Hi everyone and welcome to this week's market commentary. Hope you're all doing well. Had a fabulous weekend and a great trading week last week. Got a couple of interesting markets to look at, and there's one that's actually lining up that we might see happen this week. There's also one that I want to pull up today that will potentially offer some nice day trading opportunities. So not necessarily from a swing point of view, i.e. the swing element has already started, and if that happens, what that then enables us is to then look in the lower time frame and go from a day trading point of view. Now, as always, I'm just going to start with the American markets or look at the American markets just to see what's been happening with them. One of the things that we'd been highlighting recently was if I just pull up the NASDAQ actually to begin with, the NASDAQ had made this new high in here, but it was unable to really push higher and create momentum. So when we then compare that with the Dow at that point hadn't made a new high. So with the Nasdaq not making a big enough high and showing true momentum, also the Dow not making a new high at all, there was no doubt the probability wasn't looking good for the further upside. So although it was starting to give some bullish signal, the bullish signal didn't do enough to really see it through and give us confidence. And then what's happened is exactly what we spoke about last week, which is price had broken back through these levels here, and that's where we've then reacted. So a potential support level has been broken, which has turned into resistance, and now we've seen the reaction off of that. Now at this moment in time, whether it's the Nasdaq or the Dow, they're still in no man's land, and there's no doubt. I would say the Dow represents this more, but you can just see for the last number of months, it's been very volatile. The movements themselves, there's been a lot of wick action. It's been quite spike-based movement, which just illustrates that right now the flow of the Dow and the US indexes themselves haven't been clear for us to trade. But the one thing that gives me, I suppose, not hope, but a sense of confidence is if we can break out of this, whether it's up or down, then there's a good chance we're going to see some really, really nice opportunity. And it's just for the time being, we need to just be patient. But as this builds and the longer it builds, when we finally break, there's a good chance we could see some really nice moves, and that's when we want to be vigilant. So same as the last few weeks, as I've mentioned, make sure you're setting your alerts at the highs and lows within the big ranges that we have on the American markets, so that when we hit them, you can be really alert to it and looking for potential opportunities. Now, just a quick update on crude. Crude's one that I've taken a longer term position on, so I've taken the breakout on crude. Really looking to see if it can get back up to about 6,500 and actually higher over the longer term. Now we have been creating a slight uptrend. The only thing is now what may happen from here is we see a bit of a pullback before it might continue higher. So we'll just see what happens with that. At this moment in time, if you're already in the trade, brilliant. But if you're not in a trade, it's a little bit in limbo. So either we want to see it get back to the recent highs, break the 200 moving average along with the reversal candle on the 6th of May, or alternatively, if it comes back down, that might offer another buying opportunity on the pullback. So that'll be worth keeping an eye on. Now, one that's really interesting right now is the Canadian dollar versus the Japanese dollar. So this has had a lovely move up to 10,000. And what you'll notice is we've now just stalled in and around 10,000 here, which also happens to be a nice area of support. So previously we had a little test just underneath, and then we've had a little hit here as well, and some maybe minor hits there and there as well. But what we can also see is if we can get through 10,000, which is obviously the psychological round number, there is no doubt we have space to the upside. So I'm going to be watching that one, and there's a good possibility, because it's already been ranging and reacting at 10,000, we might possibly see a reaction and then a breakout this coming week, if not maybe into next week. The only thing that I'm going to need to keep an eye out for is I don't want this to come up and do one of those little slightly higher double tops, because there is no doubt we have a divergence in this market at the moment. So what I'll probably look for before I would put an order in is I'd like to see us come back to here to then react temporarily, just a slight reaction, almost to kind of complete the double top principle, to then put an order in, just so I can allow the market to do what it might want to do first, which is show some signs of reversal first. One market to look for right now for possible day trades, as I was saying earlier on, is the Great British Pound versus the Japanese Yen. Now, as you can see on this market, we've got this lovely clean air up to about 18th, well, basically just under 19,000. We've recently broken out, so literally Monday into today, we've done a strong break of this level, and we're now just in this little area here where we might see it cool off a little bit. So where there's going to be potentially some opportunities. Firstly is if we start to show, we might bounce off of this and see a little bit of downside. You could possibly look at intraday reversal opportunities in the short term. Alternatively, we could look for opportunities between these two levels. So you could look for your sort of 5-minute or 15-minute breakouts. And again, you could look for your 5-minute and your 15-minute pullbacks. And then obviously lastly, and more important, well, not more importantly, but from a swing perspective, we can then look for the reversal opportunity. As we can see, we've got monthly R2 up here, we've got 90,000, we've got the previous resistance level, we've done a lovely move to get there, provided we don't consolidate just before it. So if we can get there in the coming week or so, that could also be quite nice for a reversal opportunity. So pound yen's looking really good for some opportunity. Crude's playing out at the moment, but it needs to present better opportunity as far as getting into it if you're not already into it. Canadian dollar yen, once it does a little bit more, it's definitely lining up for some nice opportunity. And again, just make sure you set your alerts on the American markets and see once they get there what opportunities they may present. Okay, so that's us for this week's commentary. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week. All the best for now. Bye bye.